Ohio needs a passenger rail network. Hello, I'm Frederick Jenny. I'm a recent returnee to Ohio after 10 years in Salt Lake City, Utah. While out in Utah, I learned what it's like to have frequent, reliable passenger rail thanks to the Utah Transit Authority's commuter rail Frontrunner and their light rail system TRAX. I also spent 2.5 years working with a citizen-led infrastructure project called the Rio Grande Plan. If you haven't heard of it, check out Christian Lenhart's YouTube channel or check out their Instagram at Rio Grande Plan. I returned to Columbus, Ohio to study city and regional planning at The Ohio State University, beginning this fall of 2026. I'm also a new member of the organization AllAboardOhio. If you have not heard of AllAboardOhio, they're a 501c3 nonprofit organization advocating for the construction of a rail passenger network in Ohio. The next Ohio legislative session starts September 16th, 2026, and goes until December. There will be committee hearings and votings during that time. With that said, there is a major piece of legislation moving through the Ohio State Capitol that requires the attention of Ohioans. Senate Bill 449, also known as SB 449, is a transportation bill that will return the state of Ohio to the Midwest Interstate Passenger Rail Compact. The compact, as I will refer to it, comprises of the states of Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, North Dakota, and Wisconsin. This leaves 3 states commonly associated with being in the Midwest missing, those being Iowa, Ohio, and South Dakota. The compact has 5 points of purpose that are also outlined in SB 449. 1. To promote development and implementation of improvements to intercity passenger rail service in the Midwest. 2. To coordinate interaction among Midwestern state elected officials and their designees on passenger rail issues. 3. To promote development and implementation of long-range plans for high-speed rail passenger service in the Midwest and among other regions of the United States. 4. To work with the public and private sectors at the federal, state, and local levels to ensure coordination among the various entities having an interest in passenger rail service and to promote Midwestern interests regarding passenger rail. 5. To support efforts of transportation agencies involved in developing and implementing passenger rail service in the Midwest. SB 449 is sponsored by Senator George Lang, a Republican, and Senator Nikki Antonio, a Democrat, making SB 449 a bipartisan bill, which is great news for cooperation and the possibility of getting this bill passed. Like with most bills, there's a cost to this one, but worry not. It's not a crazy amount of money. Currently, the cost is around $25,000, which is 0.00042% of the $5.9 billion state transportation budget. Or, if that's a little too specific, about the price of a used Honda Civic. Simply put, this bill is a slam dunk for Ohio and for advancing the creation of our passenger rail network. But how do we get this bill passed? Here's what you need to do. Write your state representatives and senators and ask them to vote yes on SB 449, and then ask them to do their part to move it through the legislative process. When you write your representatives, make sure to speak to why you personally care about the issue. Organizations like AllAboardOhio provide information on how we can make Ohio better connected. But you have the why. Why does passenger rail make you excited? Have you ridden a train before? Do you know of a family member, friend, local business, community organization, local school, or some sort of other institution that would benefit from more transportation choices? Additionally, when the time comes, we will need to have people attend Senate and House Transportation Committee meetings to testify on behalf of SB 449. Make sure you're following AllAboardOhio for news and action notifications as those dates become known. The video you're watching right now is of me from 2024 when I presented to a joint session of Utah's House and Senate Transportation Committees about the citizen-run Rio Grande Plan. If you want extra credit, take a moment to write the members of the Senate and House Transportation Committees. They might not be your elected officials, but they still listen to others given their positions on the committee. If either of your representatives is a member of those committees, that's even better. We need you to write them specifically. Remember, your voice matters and can make a real difference. Don't know who your state officials are? Don't worry. Go to findmydistrict.ohiosos.gov and put in your address to find your representative and senator. You can email, call, or snail mail your comment to make sure your voice is heard. I personally prefer snail mail because a letter or postcard is something physical that makes it very hard to ignore. Plus, it's more personal than writing a generic email. This piece of legislation is vital. Ohio is counting on you to speak up and be loud. A link to All Aboard Ohio's website can be found in the description of this video, as well as a direct link to SB 449 and a link to how to find your elected official. Actions speak louder than words, so I encourage you to make your voice heard. Together, we can help Ohio rejoin the Midwest Interstate Rail Compact and take the first major step to building a strong passenger rail network.